Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about obstetric lecture, and we had discussed the normal labor, causes of labor, physiology, anatomy and mechanism management of normal labor. So now in this lecture we are going to discuss about the various disorders or complications during labor. So whenever there are complications during labor, that means labor is divided in three stages: first, second and third. First is from onset to full dilatation, and second is from full dilatation to delivery, actual labor, and third stage is after delivery of baby to passage of placenta. So in these stages, if at all labor does not progress from first stage, that means from onset to full dilatation, if there is no dilatation, if there is a problem in FHS or fetus, if there is any disease or complication of mother in this stage, then we can take the decision for cesarean and we can plan the patient accordingly. Likewise, in second stage, if at all there is obstruction of labor during second stage, if at all there is fetal heart disease, heart sounds which are not regular, or any complication, we can emergently plan the cesarean, elective cesarean we can plan. But in third stage, when actual process of delivery of baby has taken place and now we are just waiting for the delivery of placenta, at that time we cannot help or we cannot avoid that situation. So complications mainly seen in this stage. So complications of labor, or we can say complications during or after third stage of labor. So in short, complications of labor. In that, first complication or important complication or very common complication is PPH. It is postpartum hemorrhage. Postpartum hemorrhage is the bleeding from genital tract after delivery of baby till the end of puerperium. Puerperium is the period which is seen after delivery till it is seen 4 to 6 weeks of delivery. So that period of period after delivery is called as puerperium. So bleeding from genital tract, excessive bleeding from genital tract after birth of baby till the end of puerperium, and bleeding is more than 500 to 600 ml. That term is called as PPH, postpartum hemorrhage. PPH is one of the cause for maternal death in India, because bleeding from genital tract after delivery is usually remain unnoticed. Patients think that it is a normal bleeding after delivery and does not come to hospital, does not report, and because of excessive bleeding, patient can go in shock and sometimes severe anemia can develop and she can die after delivery. During this PNC period, puerperial period, deaths are seen because of this PPH. So we just have to be very careful in relating to this PV bleeding after delivery. So that is PPH, postpartum hemorrhage. We have seen APH, that is antepartum hemorrhage. It was bleeding during 28 weeks, that is during 7th month, that is before parturition. So it was antepartum. This is after parturition or after delivery, so it is postpartum hemorrhage. So we are going to discuss this PPH in detail. PPH, postpartum hemorrhage. Definition: it is excessive per vaginal bleeding after delivery of baby till the end of puerperium. Bleeding is more than 500 to 600 ml. Now types of this PPH. There are three types of PPH. First one is third stage hemorrhage. Second one is primary PPH or true PPH, and secondary PPH. So first type is third stage hemorrhage. Third stage hemorrhage is the excessive bleeding during third stage of labor, that is before delivery of placenta. So patient have severe or excessive bleeding before delivery of placenta, that is third stage hemorrhage. Next type is primary PPH or true PPH. This is the type of PPH where there is bleeding which starts after delivery of placenta but within 24 hours of delivery. So it is within 24 hours. This is the true PPH, or it is the complication which can cause severe disease or severe emergency like condition, and many deaths are seen in this type. So primary PPH, bleeding starts after delivery of placenta but within 24 hours. Secondary PPH, it is per vaginal bleeding which is usually seen after 24 hours of delivery. So these are the three types. Third stage hemorrhage, that is that is excessive bleeding during third stage of labor, where there is no delivery of placenta, before delivery of placenta. Primary PPH after delivery of placenta within 24 hours. Secondary PPH after 24 hours. These are the types of PPH. Now causes of PPH, there are three main causes: atonic uterus, retention of parts, and trauma. So these are three causes for PPH. First one is atonic uterus. PPH is usually seen because of this cause, that is atonic uterus. Atonic uterus is a condition where there is loss of muscle tone of uterus. Uterus lost its muscle tone. Muscles are excessively contracted. They have excessive stretching during labor or during a pregnancy. So after delivery or after birth of baby, suddenly there is loss of pressure on uterus and uterine muscles lost its tone. They becomes very relaxed and totally flaccid or flabby. And because of atonic uterus, atonicity of muscles, blood vessels are also dilated. And because of excessive dilatation, there is continuous bleeding or blood loss is continuous. So that leads to postpartum hemorrhage. So atonic uterus is the underlying cause for PPH in 70 to 80% of cases. Now this atonicity of uterus is mainly seen in advanced age, patients age more than 35, grand multipara patients where patients have multiple pregnancies. So because of multiple pregnancy, uterus lost its tone after delivery. So in age also, if advanced age, because of age factor, muscle does not have that much tone of uterine muscles. So age, multipara patients, twin pregnancy because of the excessive pressure during 9 months and suddenly there is loss of pressure or loss of weight in uterus, that leads to atonic uterus. Hydramniosis because of excessive fluid during labor also and before complete pregnancy also. Twins, hydramniosis, then patient with prolonged labor, if stages are very prolonged and patient have excessive pains during labor, that also leads to excessive stretching during labor and sudden loss of muscle tone after delivery. These are main causes. Then patient with APH, retained placenta, uterine fibroid, large cyst, these can be the causes. Anemia, severe anemia of patient, these can be the causes. Mismanaged stages during delivery, if we don't manage these stages properly, then uterus will be contracted. We had discussed about excessive pains should be avoided during first stage, because in first stage there is no dilatation and actual delivery will not take place in this stage. So if patient have excessive pain, we should give her mild analgesics or sedatives so that excessive stretching is avoided. So if stages are not managed properly during delivery, that will leads to atonic uterus after delivery. So these are some causes which are related to atonic uterus, that is atonic uterus. Uterus lost its muscle tone and because of that continuous dilatation of blood vessels which leads to excessive bleeding. So atonic uterus may be because of these factors. Second cause is trauma or injury. During labor there may be some trauma or injury because of mismanagement of the stages. There may be injury, lacerations, tear, or because of the excessive stretching of muscles, prolonged labor, that can be the cause which lead to tear of cervix, tear of vagina, vulva, perineum. So these tears can lead to excessive bleeding. Next is retention of parts. Sometimes placenta or pieces of placenta, membranes, tissues that can be retained in uterus, and as a foreign body that leads to excessive bleeding. Body tries to expel that product from the uterus, and so because of that there is continuous bleeding. So retention of any part will lead to bleeding. So these are the three types of three causes, main causes for PPH, postpartum hemorrhage: atonic uterus, trauma or injury, and retention. Now clinical features. As PPH is a postpartum hemorrhage, clinical features are excessive bleeding. Third stage hemorrhage is the stage where patient is on the labor table. So patient have excessive bleeding which can be seen, and because of that excessive bleeding patient's BP become low. So hypertension, bradycardia and shock signs can be seen. Per abdomen, uterus is slightly hard, and PSPV examination we can see the excessive bleeding. Primary PPH is the stage where bleeding is seen within 24 hours. Patient is already shifted in ward. So in this, patient will complain of excessive PV bleeding with slight pain in the abdomen. Because of bleeding, patient have this weakness, giddiness, breathlessness. Sometimes patient may have nauseatic feeling or severe weakness because of the bleeding. Some patients may have slight infection and so fever, chills. So these complaints are there. On examination, if excessive bleeding, shock signs, sometimes signs of anemia. Per abdomen, uterus is soft but height of uterus is enlarged because of the blood collection in uterus. Uterus is slightly enlarged. PSPV examination, we can see blood clots or bleeding. And secondary PPH, again patient have bleeding and other things are common. Like patient, because of bleeding, patient have weakness, giddiness, breathlessness, and on examination, shock or anemia signs, and PSPV examination, per abdomen, soft uterus but enlarged. PSPV examination, bleeding and blood clots can be seen. Treatment for this PPH is usually third stage hemorrhage. Treatment is, this is the stage where patient is on labor table and there is delivery of placenta has to be occurred. So we are waiting for the placental delivery, and because of that there is bleeding. Because of the incomplete separation of placenta, there is bleeding. So for complete delivery of placenta, we have to check the patient's parameters. So if patient is going in shock like condition, we have to give her IV fluids, analgesics if there is severe pain, and before that we have to give methargine, oxytocin injections for the better contractions. Because if uterus is atonic or flaccid because of absence of this muscle tone, then placenta will not deliver. So we have to induce the contraction. So we give injection oxytocin. Injection methargine is given for separation of placenta, and we deliver the placenta. After giving oxytocin, uterine contraction starts, and after that usually placenta delivers by controlled cord traction method. We give gentle pressure or traction on the cord and we pull out the placenta and we deliver the placenta. But in some cases, if placenta is deeply implanted in the uterus, or it is ruptured, or it is incompletely separated from the cord, then we have to do the manual removal of placenta, that is MRP. MRP is the procedure which we do with sedation. General anesthesia is given to patient. By PSPV examination, we insert our hand in uterus and manually we separate the placenta from uterine wall and we deliver out that placenta. That is called as manual removal of placenta. But this procedure can lead to severe pain, excessive bleeding, perforation. So this is usually avoided and placenta is delivered with controlled cord traction. But in rare cases, we do this method also. This is usually done for delivering placenta. So that is the treatment for third stage hemorrhage. For primary PPH, whenever there is bleeding within 24 hours, it is because of missing piece of placenta, membrane or tissue in uterus as a retained product. And because of that, to remove that, uterus is continuously bleeding. So we took the patient on table, we give IV fluids, multiple IV fluids are given. If necessary, blood transfusion is also given at this stage if patient has severe anemia or shock. Then oxytocin injections or oxytocin drip is started and contractions are induced, and because of uterine contractions usually that products are expelled out. If they are not, we explore the uterus or we curate the uterus with blunt curate and we remove the products, and after that usually injection methargine and other things are given and usually this condition subsides. Secondary PPH is also same treatment. If there is large piece and if it is not delivering spontaneously, we can do MRP, that is manual replacement, removal of placenta. So these are the conditions, types of PPH and management of PPH. Rarely, if placental piece are implanted or placenta is deeply implanted, not delivering, in those cases rarely we indicate for hysterectomy. We refer the patient for hysterectomy. If placenta is not delivering, that leads to severe and excessive continuous bleeding that can cause to shock and death of patient. So we have to take decision for removal of uterus. So that is delivery with hysterectomy, normal labor complicated with hysterectomy. So it is a rare condition, but in some cases it can be seen. So that is PPH, postpartum hemorrhage. Second condition or second complication is retained placenta. As we had just now discussed, the products when they are not expelled from uterus after delivery, those products are called as retained products, or retained placenta is the condition where placenta is not separated or not delivered after delivery of baby. It is because of deep implantation of placenta, abnormalities of placenta, large placenta, tear cord or membranes or ruptured membranes, and it is usually because of mismanaged third stage. If we give unnecessarily pressure on cord, then we cut the cord from placenta and we just remove the cord out from placenta, and placenta is there in the uterine wall. So usually mismanaged third stage will lead to retention of placenta. Some cases placenta is already deeply implanted, it is in the uterine wall, and because of abnormality of placenta, twin pregnancy, two placentas are there and we deliver one placenta and one remains in the uterus. So in those conditions, this retained placenta complication can be seen. And clinical features of this condition, because of this retained placenta or products which are retained in the uterus, there is PPH. So there is excessive bleeding. Because of bleeding, patient may become breathless, patient may have weakness, giddiness, fever. On examination, signs of anemia, signs of shock. If severe bleeding, for abdomen, uterus soft but large, PSPV bleeding is seen. And for treatment, again same treatment, we have to take the patient on labor table, IV fluids, if necessary blood transfusion, injection oxytocin to induce the contraction, and usually products removed, expelled out, but if not, then we have to remove it with exploration, that is cleaning or curating the uterine wall. Rarely MRP, manual removal of placenta, and very rarely hysterectomy. So that is retained placenta. Next condition is inversion of uterus. Next complication is inversion of uterus. Puerperial inversion of uterus. Inversion is the condition which we had discussed in the displacement of uterus in gynec, that is coming inside out of uterus. Inner wall of uterus comes out from vagina. That condition is called as inversion. Usually seen after delivery because of improper handling of cord. If we give excessive pressure on cord and we just pull out the placenta with great pressure, that removes the placenta as well as the uterus. So it is the leading cause for inversion of uterus. Other causes are because of severe atonic uterus. Uterus spontaneously delivers with placenta. Sometimes it is because of overuse of injections, oxytocin like injections, which causes severe contractions and there is spontaneous inversion. Because of age, excessive grand multipara patients, advanced age, these conditions are there which can have this inversion. Degrees of this inversion are: degree first is uterine fundus is at the internal os, second degree uterine fundus out of internal os, and third degree complete inner side or complete uterine wall, complete uterus is out of vagina. These are degrees of inversion. Clinical features: this is usually conditioned on labor table. So patient have severe pain because uterus is completely coming out from vagina, so severe pain, bleeding, and usually because of this excessive pain and bleeding, patient goes in shock. So patients are usually unconscious, and this is the condition which is usually very fatal and we cannot treat at that emergency, and so usually it leads to death of patient. So management of this inversion is actually we have to give IV fluids, analgesics, and we try to replace the uterus as it is in the pelvic cavity, but many times it is detached from the ligaments and other things, so manual replacement is not successful, and because of that, because of this excessive bleeding, excessive pain, maternal death is expected. But in some condition, if we give the IV fluids properly, we give blood transfusion in time, and if we try to replace the uterus and emergency decisions of surgery is taken, life of patient can be saved. So that is about inversion of uterus. Surgical decision means we have to do the hysterectomy, we have to just properly do the separation of uterus, tightening of ligaments and other things, suturing of the ruptured blood vessels, and after that we can save the life of patient. That is inversion of uterus. Next complication is embolism. After delivery, this is again the cause for death. after delivery. These are the conditions which causes the maternal death during PNC period. So embolism is also leading cause, and in this condition there is formation of amniotic fluid embolism. This embolism causes cardiac failure, hypoxia, hypovolemia, and ultimately leads to cardiac failure and death of patient. So this is the amniotic embolism is the condition which is very difficult to diagnose because it develops spontaneously, and within few hours to just few days patient can die. And treatment of embolism is very difficult because it is undiagnosed. It remains undiagnosed. This condition remains undiagnosed. Patient cannot diagnose her embolism. So usually it is the condition which leads to maternal death. Next complication is shock. Shock is the complication during labor, after labor, during preperium, because there are many factors which can lead to shock like condition, and shock basically leads to shock. It is the thing which is excessive bleeding, that because of the excessive fluid loss or blood loss patient can go in shock, hypovolemic shock. Because of excessive pain during labor, after labor she may go in neurogenic shock. Because of infections during the labor, before labor also and after labor also she can go in septic shock. Because of excessive trauma or injury she can go in neurogenic shock. There may be conditions like rupture of uterus, uterine inversion, and because of that also patient can go in shock. Prolonged labor, excessive pain during labor, and the stages of labor are prolonged, that can lead to shock. Hypertension, pregnancy induced hypertension is the condition which leads to shock. Embolism. Next is overuse of some injections. Allergic conditions, by using some injections during labor, that can lead to allergic condition, severe reactions. So all these conditions can lead to shock after labor, and because of shock patient is usually becomes hypovolemic, and there is bradycardia, there is hypotension, cold clammy skin, respiratory rate is increased, there is usually cyanosis develops, oligouria, and if not treated she can there is death of patient. Now for this management of shock, we have to treat the patient according to cause. Usually the shock is because of excessive bleeding, so controlling that bleeding, giving IV fluids, blood transfusion. If pain, we have to give analgesics, sedatives. If there is any surgical emergency, we have to treat that patient accordingly. Antibiotics to avoid infection. So this is about the shock after delivery. Septicemia, next condition is septicemia. This is septicemia is infection during or before infection, focus of any bacterial infection before delivery, during delivery, or after delivery, that can lead to septicemia. It is usually a bacterial infection. So infection leads to, as we know, because of bacterial infection or any infection in body, there is fever, chills, malaise, headache, body ache, nausea, vomiting. So all these clinical features are seen in this condition also. Foul smelling, PV discharge, offensive discharge, so it can be seen. And on examination, increased body temperature, maybe hypotension, bradycardia, and because of fever, patient is usually having all the complaints. And PSPV examination, offensive discharge can be seen, PV bleeding can be seen. Treatment for septicemia is we have to give antibiotics, heavy antibiotics. We usually prefer IV or injectable antibiotics, and IV fluids, multiple fluids, plenty of fluids is advised for to avoid the septic complication. So these are the complications which are seen after delivery or after labor. So these are the things or disorders of or diseases of delivery or labor. So complications of labor, that is first is PPH, postpartum hemorrhage, that means bleeding after delivery during PNC, puerperium period. In that there are 3 stages. Third stage hemorrhage, that is before delivering placenta, primary PPH within 24 hours, secondary PPH after 24 hours. Clinical features, because of bleeding all the complaints are there. Causes: a tonic uterus, traumatic and retention. Treatment of this PPH for third stage, we have to remove the placenta carefully. If it is not removed by proper method, we have to do manual removal of placenta. Primary PPH, we have to explore or clean the uterus, and secondary also exploration, in rare cases hysterectomy. Retained placenta is the condition where placenta is retained in the uterus, does not deliver spontaneously because of autonicity, deep implantation, abnormality of placenta. Clinical features, again because of retention, bleeding, and treatment, we have to remove the placenta with injection oxytocin. Proper method is controlled contraction, if not manual removal, rarely hysterectomy. That is retained placenta. Next is inversion of uterus, that is inner side of uterus is delivered or comes out usually because of mismanaged stage, third stage, advanced age, multiparity, twin pregnancy. These are the other causes for inversion. 3 grades of inversion. Clinical features, it's a condition which is very severe and excessive pain, bleeding, needs surgical treatment, immediate surgical treatment. If proper surgical treatment is given, life can be saved, or else maternal death. Next is embolism. Amniotic fluid embolism develops after delivery, and that leads to pulmonary, usually it is leads to fetal death, maternal death because of the cardiac failure. Next is shock. Many reasons for shock after delivery, and shock is the condition which usually seen after labor because of bleeding, pain, various types of trauma, injuries, complications during labor, analgesic injections, anesthetic injections, infections. These are the leading causes, and shock needs immediate treatment, IV fluids, blood transfusion, antibiotics. If surgical emergency, surgical treatment is advised. Septicemia, infection before delivery, during delivery, or after delivery. Usually bacterial infection, and because of infection, fever, chills, malaise, patient becomes weak, maybe nausea, vomiting, giddiness, all the other complaints are associated. And treatment is, we have to give antibiotic, broad spectrum antibiotic, usually injectable or IV antibiotics. Sometimes we give tablet forms if it is mild septicemia. So these are the conditions which are complications during labor or after labor, and needs many conditions are related to maternal death, so it needs immediate treatment. Surgical treatment is required for condition like inversion, retained placenta. So if there is any retained products, that needs surgical treatment, or else it needs proper diagnosis with proper management. Again, PPH is the condition which can be very much that condition needs very much attention, because if it is not diagnosed in time, it can lead to maternal death. So this is complications of labor.